Hey everybody, welcome to Home Recording Made Easy and Plugin Review Sunday, where every Sunday I show you a brand new plugin, we walk through its feature set, and I show you how to apply it to a mix so you can make better mixes in your home studio. Okay, before we get started, if you like what you see in this video, please consider subscribing and make sure you hit the notification bell, and also stick around to the end of the video because I have a free gift worth about $210 to help you make better mixes in your home studio, so stick around. Okay, everybody, welcome. So this week on Plugin Review Sunday, we're going to take a look at the new revamped Ampire plugin by Presonus. This is called the Ampire 3. Now, this is only if you're a Studio One user do you have access to this. For other people that are not Studio One users, you can check this out and for fun and just see what it sounds like, or you can head on over to the next video. So as of late 2019, Presonus released their 4.6 is the latest version of Studio One. Depending on when you're watching this video, that can be right now or it can be many years from now. But in any event, during that 4.6 release, they revamped the Ampire plugin. Now, Ampire is a guitar simulator plugin, also has a couple of bass presets as well. The first version of Ampire that they had way back in version 2, I think, all the way up through version 4.5, wasn't a very good plugin. What you see on the screen here is Ampire 3. Comparatively speaking, I don't know if I still have that here in my folder. Let me just check this out and see. Do I have the old Ampire? Might not have reinstalled it. No, I did not. But the old version of Ampire, which you can also use in conjunction with version 4.6, at least the presets you can. I don't have it in this version, but wasn't a great guitar amp sim plugin, and I've been very vocal about that. I'm a real big Studio One fan, and I like most of what Presonus does, but in that particular case, it wasn't very good. Very hard to get usable sounds. Well, for this Ampire 3, they've really changed the game, and they've done a much better job. And I want to walk through this plugin with you, show you some of the feature set. Now, before we get started, I want to let you know that if you are a Studio One user, again, I want to say this again to make sure you understand, because people sometimes miss it and then they write in the comments and they didn't watch the video. You have to upgrade to version 4.6 in order to get this. If you have version 4.5 or lower, you will not be able to use this plugin, okay? So you upgrade to version 4.6, it's a free update, okay? You go to, if you're at version 3 all the way forward, it's a free update. And then you go to the Presonus website, you log into your Presonus user account, and when you look at your Studio One software license code, on that page you will see where you can redeem the Ampire plugin as well as the Pedalboard plugin, which I'll show you quickly as well, okay? So you have to do that. So you have to upgrade to 4.6, then go download Ampire. When you upgrade to 4.6, Ampire doesn't come along at the same time. Okay, so let's be clear about that. So here is Ampire. Very nice looking GUI. We have over here at the top here, we have this where our amps are. We can click on this, and this is the selection of amps that we have. We have an MC800, which is kind of a JCM 800. We have a dual amplifier, which looks just like a dual rectifier, Mezzo Boogie, the V30, which is certainly a Vox, the Black Twin, which is a Fender Blackface, and then we have an amp STV, which is an STV bass amp. So you get 4 guitar amps and 1 bass amp. And then you can just click here and that'll clear the amp itself. Okay, so you have all those amps. Now you can say, well, that's not a whole lot of amplifiers. Well, I'll tell you though, it does cover a wide range of stuff. I mean, from the Vox through the dual rectifier, you can pretty much get any kind of tone that you want. Clean, a little bit dirty, real dirty, kind of a British, kind of a high watt Vox 30 kind of a vibe. You have everything. So these are all your amp selections. Next to this, you have all your cabinet selections. Now this is where I think this plugin really shines, is the selection of cabinets that you get. And we're going to demo these in a second. So if we click on this, you can see all the different, right here, there we go. Click on it once, you'll see kind of a grid layout here. We have a 212 Blackface, we have the 8x10 bass cabinet, we have a 1x12 American, 2x12 American, 1x12 British, 1x12 Boutique, British 2, 2x12 Boutique, 4x10 American, 4x10 British, 4x12 American, 2x10 bass cab, 8x10 bass cab, and then a user cabinet where you can upload your own impulse responses, or if you want to purchase ones from people like Celestion or Ohm and Hammer, you can upload those as well. Okay, so that's really cool. So you get a ton of cabinets here that in combination with the different amps can drastically change the tone. Okay, here we also, next to that, we have our little microphone. Let me just click on this, where we have, depending on this particular case, we have two microphones that you can blend together. You have mic A, mic B, and then you can put a delay on mic B if you want. You have mic C, where you could do things in kind of a stereo pattern. Really, really cool that you can do all these different things, and you can even turn those on and off here. As you turn down mic A, mic B will go up. You can blend them together, which is really cool. So you have like kind of this looks like a ribbon mic, condenser mic kind of a deal. Really nice. Is there a way to choose different microphones? That's the one thing I did not notice. Can you choose different microphones here? No, I think they just give you those mics. It looks like a ribbon mic, a large diaphragm condenser, and then mic C looks like a stereo kind of a pair kind of a thing. Almost looks like a Neumann or a Telefunken. And as you turn up mic C, that'll go down. Okay, so that's how that kind of works. You can mute if you just want one microphone. You can mute the microphones. You can put a delay on it. That's really cool as well. And then you have a nice tuner, which is really nice. So the intent of this plugin is really twofold. One, you could plug your guitar directly into your interface and you can record through this plugin into your DAW. Studio One, or you could do what we're going to do. If you have some guitar DI tracks, which we have, we can put this on here on a DI track as well. Or even if you have a guitar track where maybe it was recorded with an amp, but let's say with a really light kind of a breakup or a clean sound, and you want to dirty it up, you can use it in conjunction with that as well. Okay, now down underneath that we have our amp control panel. Like, so here's the Vox. Here's the typical the typical layout of a Vox AC30 in this case, and you can switch the inputs just by clicking this. Okay, you can switch all the different inputs just like you can on the amplifier. And then underneath it you have a pedal board, which is really, really nice. So what I want to do here quickly is, because I've already kind of pre-mixed this, let me give you another, let's open up another instance of this just so we can see this, so I can change it and not screw up all my settings. So when you load it as a default, for some reason it puts these pedals here automatically, which I don't particularly like, but I'm sure you can clear it out as a blank template or a blank pedal board and save it as a preset. But anyway, you have 4 slots here for pedals along the bottom. Okay, then you have this little blue line here, and then you have another 4 slots after that. What the blue line represents, or what this little blue thing represents, is the effects loop. So before, at the front end of the amp, you would put maybe your distortion pedals, your drive pedals, and then after that in the effects loop, you'd put things like chorus, delay, reverb, maybe some phasing, and those kinds of things depending on how you like your sound, and you can experiment with that. So by clicking on the first pedal board slot, you could turn it on and off right here, or you could turn it on and off on the pedal itself. If you were to click on here, here's the tube dreamer, it's a tube screamer, and then here's all the pedals we have to choose from. And there's a nice variety of pedals here. We have fuzzes, we have delays, EQs, we have the rat fat, we have a phaser, we have modulations, we have the rolling chorus, we have a panner, reverbs, tremolos, the tube screamer, a tube driver, and an auto wah. Pretty cool. So you could choose any one of those pedals that you'd like to choose. If you want to if you want to clear the pedal board slot, you just click on this, scroll up to the top, and where it has an empty slot here, you do that and the pedal will go away. And here is the chorus pedal. Now you can also take these things, and I believe you could just drag them and rearrange them. Can you do that? Yes, you can. So you could just left click and drag, and you can rearrange the order of your pedals on your pedal board, which is always cool. Again, after the blue line is going to be in the effects loop, so to speak. So we're going to take that away for the moment, just so we could start with a clean slate. So what I want to do here is, we have a few tracks. I'm going to solo these guitar tracks up. This is a mix that is part of the live mixing series that I do every week on YouTube, usually Saturday night around 7 p.m. Again, if you hit the notification bell when you subscribe, you'll know when I go live. It's usually every Saturday night. And I mix a song live every week. We do a different section of the song. This is one of those songs. And what's nice about this particular session is we happen to have a bunch of DI track guitars, which isn't usually typical, which is really cool. So if I were to, let's say, just solo up this main rhythm guitar part, I'll shut off the Ampire that I was using and the channel strip that we were using for mixing. This is kind of what this guitar sounds like. That's the original track. Okay, so now the only thing I originally, like I said, I originally put a a Vox AC30 on this during the live mixing series live stream. I shut this plugin off. We're going to work with a brand new instance because I don't want to screw up the settings. And then we're also working with a channel strip here, the Plugin Alliance Lindell 80s Neve channel strip, which again I've turned off. So the only thing you're going to hear is Ampire. So I'm going to turn on this new instance of Ampire, and just by being on its default settings, we are on the Marshall 800, the MCM 800, and we're using a 4x12 M65 cabinet, M65, standing for probably the British Celestion 65s. Here's what this guitar sounds like. Okay. Okay, we can even switch to the low input so it'll be a little less grit. And if you want to turn up the preamp to maybe grit it up a little bit. This is more of the kind of their clean sound, right? So let's say we kind of like that clean sound. Presence control. So you go from that to that, just on the edge of breakup, right? Now we're using a 412 cabinet. So before we even change microphones or do anything like that, if we just want to take a look at the cabinet, and this is where a lot of folks, when they're first using AmpSim plugins, or if they're not guitar players, they don't realize that, you remember now, the cabinet has 50% of is 50% of the equation to the guitar tone. With this one amplifier on the same settings, if we just change the guitar tone from this to that, another 412. To a 212 Vox cabinet. To a blackface cabinet. That's a bass cabinet here. That's kind of nice. 112 American cabinet. .212 American cabinet, so on and so forth. So you could cycle through all these cabinets and you can widely change the tone. So what I typically do with a plugin such as this, and what I did for this particular mix when we used the Vox, so I pulled up an amplifier. I kind of dialed in the EQ the way I wanted. I made sure I had enough grit, or the appropriate amount of grit that I thought I wanted, distortion, and I would change the cabinet until I found something that was usable. So let's say we wanted to go with this 112 American cabinet. Now it's a dry setting, obviously, really dry. Now this is where we can use our pedal board, okay? We can add a little bit of grit, maybe a little bit of room, reverb. So maybe after our effects loop here, maybe our first pedal is gonna be, maybe we'll put a little reverb on this. Okay, and get a real easy kind of get a low cut, high cut filter, dampening, a size, and a mix. Really simple. So let's turn down the mix. Okay, so like a little room reverb. Now again, I know we're doing this in solo. We'll do this in the context of a mix in a second. So you can put a little verb on it right away. Now let's say we want to add a little bit of, maybe just a little bit more distortion. We don't want to change out the amp. We could crank the preamp a little more. The high setting on this particular amp may be a little bit too much for this song. So maybe we add a little bit of a distortion pedal. Maybe we go down to something like the tube driver. And maybe we just add a little bit of grit. Turn down the gain all the way to 0 and just turn the pedal on. From that. Now it darkens it up a little bit. Maybe it darkens it up too much. So we say, you know, we don't want that one. That one doesn't have enough controls. But here we have a tone control. So maybe we can do this with the Tube Screamer or the Tube Dreamer, where we're going to turn down the drive all the way, leave the level right up the middle, and maybe just dial in a little bit of tone if we need a little more brightness. Actually, not bad. It's before. Okay? So again, this is what we started with. Whoops. To that. Okay, so let's just put that in the context of a mix. We'll just put that in with bass and drums and maybe a little bit of keyboard here. Now again, none of the other guitars we're playing. This is the main guitar. The other guitar parts of this song are just playing in very small sections. This is pretty much the rhythm guitar through the whole song. Turn this up a little so you can hear better. That's before. After. Now, the other thing you can do is you could go ahead and you can reopen this, and I think you can save. Can you do like an A/B on this? I think you can compare. So if we copy this, let's copy that. Let's do a compare. Now let's go back. Can we go back and forth? Yes, we can. Okay, so we hit the compare button. Let's start from scratch again. Let's take out these plugins. So let's try a different amp. Let's say, we're not really sure if that's what we like. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, but this is how you can use this plugin, and it does sound really good. I mean, I've used enough of the presets here. We're not going to go through all of them. Let's go to let's see if we want to go to like a Vox. Let's do a Vox and see. Now I've shut off the other instance of the plugin. No, we didn't. Okay, there we go. So right out of the gate, that sounds great. Let's check some of the different inputs. A little cleaner. A little warmer. That sounds great, just like that. That sounds excellent. It's one of the reasons why I use this particular amp as part of the live mixing series. You just dial it up, it sounds great. Now, this is a 412 cab. Now again, we could put a little reverb on this one as well. And let's just do the same thing. Make it a little bit bigger size here. Now let's go back and forth by hitting the compare button. Oh, you know what it did though? It reloaded the pedal board. Oh, that's not good. Is that what happened? Oh, that's kind of a drag. Let's see. Compare, and then let's paste the other. Okay, that's what we had originally. So, oh, I might be doing that wrong, and if I'm doing that wrong, you guys will let me know in the comments. That's our original. That really is a drag, because I thought you could, oh, that really is a drag. I thought you can switch back and forth. I must be doing that wrong. But we can even open up another instance of this. And again, I have it already here because I did it as part of the live mixing series, as I said. So this is the Vox with a little bit of a tube driver. Let me shut off this instance of it here. So here's... And we just use a tube driver, and I used a 212 cabinet. Okay, so you can swap back and forth, and obviously you can play around with this to your heart's content. It's a really, really cool plugin. So we turn this on. Now let's go to the microphones. Here's a dynamic mic. And here's a condenser mic. If you want to blend them, maybe. shut off one of the mics. So there's the large diaphragm condenser. There's the dynamic. You could even add the two kind of stereo. That's kind of a weird sound for this thing. Right now, let's say we want to change. Let's just change the amp just for the heck of it here. So that's the Marshall. Let's go to the dual rectifier. Let's shut off this pedal. This is on channel 2. That's a little heavy, right? We have all the different switches that you would have. Not really appropriate for this song, but because we have the tube screamer off, we go to channel 1, which is their clean channel on the Mesa, and then you can add the tube screamer back in. Master volume. Okay, that's kind of the Mesa. Now again, you can change out the cabinet, maybe like a 412. Sounds kind of nice. So let's change out the amp again. Let's go to like a blackface. So let's go like to the blackface here, which is really a clean, really kind of a clean amp. We can use the reverb in the amp instead of on the pedal. If you like that kind of a vibe, maybe turn down the intensity a little. This is the vibrato channel. There's the normal channel. Turn down the bass. Turn up the middle. Turn on the bright switch. Not going to be a lot of gain in this. You would use the pedal for that, but again, we could swap this out to maybe the matching cabinet. Much different sounds. Much different sounds. There's a 212 American cabinet. So again, we started with this. Complete DI. So, I mean, you can see the possibilities are really, I wouldn't say endless, but there's a lot here. Between the 4 amps, the really great cabinets, and again, you can upload your own impulse responses if you don't like theirs, although I think those sound pretty good. And the blending of the microphones, which again, are not bad. Now, again, I think the microphone choice has everything to do with the amp that you choose, because like on this one, we have a ribbon mic in A and a condenser in B. That's the condenser. And this is the ribbon. And a blend between the two. You could do that. Then your tuner. So that is the Ampire 3 plugin. Really, really great. I think they did a really good job. Again, I haven't played with all the pedals, but the pedals are very usable. I don't know, depending on when you're watching this video, if there's additional amp packages that you can purchase that will be a part of Ampire, like more amps, more pedals. I gotta think there will be more amps at one point. I don't know what they can do as far as more cabinets. I suppose they can give you more cabinets, but maybe you'll see different amp models in the future, maybe some orange cabinets or different, you know, different types of Marshalls, or maybe, you know, Friedmans, or who knows what they'll do. But they got, I think this plugin is head and shoulders above the original Ampire plugin. I mean, it's not even a comparison. Now, how do these stack up to like things like Guitar Rig and the Universal Audio stuff and the Slate stuff? And there are so many guitar amp sim plugins out there. Helix Native, which is really good. I would say this is pretty much on par. What the Helix Native, I think, like a lot of these other ones, let me just say this, a lot of things like Helix Native, which I'm very familiar with, the Universal Audio stuff I'm familiar with, you could do a lot more with, especially things like Helix Native. There's a lot more options, a lot more amps, a lot more tone tweaking you can do. This is a little bit more stripped down, but it's still very, very usable. What I like about this plugin, as opposed to something like let's say, the Universal Audio Friedman Collection, Marshall Collection, Fender Collection, which I have, and those are beautiful sounding amps, but you don't have the pedal board kind of incorporated with it. This is kind of a nice touch. I know that there are other guitar amp plugins on the market, that you can get that'll give you more features, but this is a really good feature. And if you're a Studio One user, this is a free plugin. This is not something you have to purchase. Now, again, you may have to purchase some add-on packs down the road, like you did with the original Ampire, but this is free. So for a free plugin, is this a great plugin? Yes, it's a really good plugin. I'm using it, as I said, as part of the live mixing series. First time I'm really using it. I've only used it for maybe a couple of hours before I'm shooting this video, so I still have to play with it some more. But I found very quickly in our live mixing series, I was able to get some really good guitar tones very, very quickly. And if you don't want to spend a month tweaking things to death, you just want something that sounds good right out of the box, this is a good plugin. And so if you're a Studio One user, I would say upgrade to version 4.6, go out to their website, into your user account, and download this so you have it for free and play around with it. I really think you're going to like it. And I want to say hats off to Presonus for this one, because they did a good job on this one. They really did do a good job on this one. So I want to thank you for staying till the end of the video. And as always, I want to give you a couple of free gifts. So if you're someone that's new here to Home Recording Made Easy, there are two things I want to give you. First thing I want you to do is go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I want to give you 5 free mixing training courses. That's right, 5 free courses worth a couple of $100. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. It is right on the homepage. Make sure you go there, click on that, get your 5 free courses today. Then I also want to give you a coupon code. I want to give you a coupon code so you could take 25% off any one of my training courses on my website, whether you are a brand new person to Home Recording Made Easy, or whether you're someone that's been following me for years and has all of my other courses. This coupon will apply to you as well. The coupon code is YouTube25. That's YouTube25. Put that at checkout. Take 25% off all of my courses, or any one of my courses. You can go there today and use those in conjunction with the 5 free courses. So those are the 2 gifts that I want to give you. And lastly, if you want to learn the craft of mixing in a very non-technical way, great for beginners and intermediates, go check out what I have at mixingmadeeasy.net. All the links will be in the description box below. Mixingmadeeasy.net. It's a wonderful community of mixing engineers and aspiring mixing engineers. We're all trying to get better at the craft of mixing. Really cool stuff over there. Check out mixingmadeeasy.net. And then the last thing I want you to do is let me know, how do you like this Presonus plugin if you're a Studio One user? If you're not a Studio One user and you use a different type of a guitar amp sim plugin, which ones do you use? Leave comments below and let me know. How do you like this one? If you're a Studio One user, do you use this? If you compared them to your other ones, what do you like? I'd like to know from you. Tell me what you think about this plugin. And until next Sunday, for next Plugin Review Sunday, I've been Dave with HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and MixingMadeEasy.net, and I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Take care.